Fallout at ABC over a controversial social media post from one of the network's most prominent correspondents, Terry Moran. The veteran journalist suspended Sunday over a now deleted post on X in which he was critical of President Trump's chief of staff, Stephen Miller, saying in part, quote, "It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred." He goes on to say Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred only a means to an end, and that end his own glorification. That's his spiritual nourishment. So I'd like to welcome in NewsNation contributor, founding editor of the political media website, Mediaite.com, Colby Hall. Colby, great to see you. Just talk about how quickly ABC News responded, and do you think the speed in which they did respond is due to this multi-million-dollar lawsuit Trump had filed, settlement with George Stephanopoulos? There's a lot going on here.
There is. I think the alacrity with which ABC responded to this controversy is revealing. Look, I think Terry Moran made a mistake. I think he was used a little flowery language for a traditional journalist. And the way he depicted Stephen Miller as getting his spiritual nourishment from hatred was almost demonic in his description. So I do think he's made a mistake here. Clearly, the landscape of a Trump White House that is sort of really threatening lots of legal actions against legacy media outlets for coverage that he doesn't like made ABC and Disney jump. So I think that it shows just how the chilling effect and how effective that is for the Trump administration to keep people in line. That said, I think the outrage around this is a little, overplayed. He made a mistake, but people are calling for him to be fired, I think is, a little too far.
Well, so speaking of that, Colby, I mean, any word at this point on Moran's future there at ABC News? I mean, will it just be a temporary suspension? He'll come back, all will be well?
Well, my reporting suggests that they're still looking into it, and I think it's as much a damage control issue as much as anything else. I suspect that Terry Moran's been there a long time. I remember when he was criticized by the left for saying things on panel discussions that the Democrats overreached in their impeachment hearings against Trump in his first administration. So he's really not nearly as big a lefty as this last tweet makes him out to be. That said, I think he has a lot of goodwill within the network. I think he will serve a suspension. I don't think he'll get suspended. I do think he needs to address it somehow and either apologize privately to Stephen Miller for the demonic comment or address it somehow more publicly. But I think there's a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill right now.
All right, so I want to talk about another network, CBS News vet Scott Pelley. He's sounding the alarm about the possibility of Paramount Global settling in yet another lawsuit filed by the president. This is against the network and CBS News Magazine 60 Minutes. Scott Pelley is saying that the most important thing is to have the courage to speak, to not let fear permeate the country so that everyone suddenly becomes silent, end quote. What is your reaction? Are we seeing a chilling effect on the media, especially legacy media, many outlets of which President Trump is not a fan of?
Well, absolutely. I think, these are corporate media outlets that know that this administration is playing really the hardball with, Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC, is basically investigating outlets at Trump's direction for coverage that he deems to be unsuitable or anti-Trump. And, that really flouts. That's a real threat to the First Amendment, right? The freedom of speech. That's not something that, the Fourth Estate is something, it's a massive pillar for the U.S. democracy, and it's a big part of the Constitution. But I think you see a lot of, corporate news outlets that are looking to, they don't want to be in a lawsuit with their biggest subject, President Trump. And so they're recognizing, for example, when ABC News spent $15 million to settle a lawsuit with Trump over something that George Stephanopoulos said, every legal expert said that that was a silly lawsuit that they would never win in court. But ABC News Disney decided that $15 million was, chump change to just move the needle and get to the next thing. CBS, Scott Pelley's got nothing to lose, right? I think he's worried that 60 Minutes is going to go away. So he's going rogue in a way that I think is probably making the corporate overlords a little queasy. It's sure fun to watch because it's not something we typically see that often.
Absolutely. And Leslie Stahl also speaking out. So we'll certainly see what happens with that. Colby Hall, great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.